Welcome back to Make It Mondays, and this week I'm starting a project for my work. Welcome back to Make It Mondays, and this week I am going to be working on a project that is for me and is for a different aspect of my work life. I spend a lot of time having to wear a headset because I work in theater, and a lot of headsets that are provided by the companies are not useful to me or not comfortable. So I actually own my own. And I want to make a bag that can go to the theaters with me. And I'm going to be doing it double knit with some very pretty designs, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. And it's going to be out of this yarn. So one side of the double knit will be out of the black. The other will actually be starting where there's a little bit of purple in the yarn. I'm going to pull out all the white and use that later on in the project. So let me get everything turned around. I'll show you how I got started. So here we are in the middle of all of the double knitting stuff. So no, he's upside down, but this is the dragon. That is the clef heart. The clef hearts are almost done. It's just the loop on the top of the treble clef. I'm going to separate out the white yarn from the black yarn. So it's knit at the moment white, slip both yarns to the front, purl the black yarn, and put it back to the back. And both yarns go to the back. And let's do that all the way across with the yarn swapping places when I need to work in the other color. I'm trying not to split the yarn. That is one of the biggest downsides with working with this particular yarn. If you remember from the last time I used it, I had the same issue. Because it is 4-ply that are not actually twisted together, it tends to split quite readily, which is vaguely frustrating. In general, it means that I can't work on this in the dark because I actually have to concentrate on it. But I'm trying not to split the yarns and then trying to remember where I am in the pattern at the same time. So this is going to continue for about 16 more rows, and then I should be back to show you the next step. So I've now finished the double knitting portion, so the heart on the dragon, and I've trimmed the lighter part of the yarn. And now it's time to close up the double knitting section so that I can move towards the bottom of the bag. So I'm going to insert my needle through the first loop and the second loop, making sure not to twist either, and knit 2 together. So because my purl loops are twisted compared to my knit loops, I am having to be a little bit more careful in how this works. But both the back side and the front side are going together straight. And as a reminder, I was working from the inside and the outside of the yarn, so now, or out of the cake, so now I have a very hollow center, and I'm slowly working my way through the purple and black. I will be back a bit later to show how I'm doing the decreases for the bottom of this bag. So be back in a bit. So here is where I am now. I've gone from the larger circumference needle to the smaller circumference needle, and now it's time to go on to double points because it got really small. You guys have seen me do this a couple times if you've been a fan of this channel. So I'm literally just knitting onto the double pointed needles. But that wasn't why I was coming back and filming this. It's also time for me to show you the decrease. So worked over to one stitch before the decrease, slipping one, reorienting these two to make a right leaning decrease on that side, and a left leaning on that side. Then going to knit across the next section for a little bit. Probably not quite all the way to half, more because I'm not counting than any other reason. I'm going to drop the circular down below at this point, and then pick up the next double point. And I'm going to work around like this, doing these decreases every other row until it's all the way closed up. Run the yarn through the last couple of stitches that are going to be left. So again, I slipped one, reoriented those two, right leaning decrease, passing the slip stitch over. So once this bottom is all closed, then I'm going to pull these stitches off of their provisional cast-ons, do a couple of rounds up top, do some eyelets as well, and then I'll be back to show you how it all finished up. And here is the finished bag. So dragon, clef heart, and the dragon facing the other way, and the other clef heart. And then temporary drawstring, I'll put in a better one a little bit later to draw it all up. And it's nice and big to fit stuff for the theater inside. And that's it for this week. If you made it this far through this video, please consider dropping a like. And if you want to see more, consider subscribing. And I will see you next time on Make It Mondays. Bye.